Welcome to the Laws of Business podcast. Here, we will share the skills you need to make your business a success. Learn about goal setting, productivity, time management, marketing, and much more. Hear inspiring stories with today's best business leaders and join a hub of thousands of passionate entrepreneurs across the world. And now, here's your host, Jamil Jama.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Law of Business. I'm Jamil Jama, and I interview entrepreneurs that can help you to start and grow your business. And today I'm going to be interviewing Daniel Goodenough. And Daniel Goodenough is going to help you to find your life's purpose. Before we start the interview, I'll give you a bio of who Daniel Goodenough is. Daniel Goodenough is the author of the Caravan of Remembering, a roadmap for awakening the experience of your life's mission from Heart's Way Press. He is co-founder and teacher at The Way of the Heart, an international program for personal growth and self-development. He's worked as a research scientist, professional musician, and graphic designer. He has taught thousands of students in the last 30 years through the Way of the Heart program to discover the authentic path they were meant to live and how to walk that path in the world. Recently, he has been consulting with companies and entrepreneurs that want to do business in a new way, with integrity, purpose, and heart. It's a real pleasure to welcome our awesome guest, Daniel Goodenough. Daniel, how's it going?
It's going great. Thank you for having me on.
Fantastic. Thanks, Daniel. Daniel, you're definitely good enough to be on the show.
Good one. Thank you.
Awesome. So, Daniel, first of all, I want to thank you so much for taking your time out to do this interview. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
Fantastic. And Daniel, you help companies and entrepreneurs. So you help people find their life's purpose, right?
I do. I work with, let's say, you might say the general population as well. And there is that corporate and entrepreneurial side as well.
And what your company's called Heart's Way Press?
Yes.
Okay, that's
well, my company's called The Way of the Heart, and Heart's Way Press published the book.
Oh, yeah. But before you started to help people find their life's purpose, can you tell us your backstory, please, from when you started to where you are right now, please?
Sure. Well, it really started with the life purpose question. Started as, knee-high to a grasshopper, as they say, looking around and looking at the adults in and around my world, trundling off to work in the morning, really not happy with what they were doing for a living. And that never made sense to me. I couldn't imagine why someone would do that. So it's been a lifelong project. That's become my full-time occupation. But let's say growing up, my main preoccupation was, how do you help people remember the why, the what, and the who? Why am I here? What does that call me to do? And who does that call me to be? So that they can be alive and look forward to going to work in the morning. And so my backstory is, while holding that question throughout my whole life, I said, if I'm going to help people do that, then I should probably do that for myself as well. And I had some passion, so I got a fine arts degree and became a recording artist and a touring musician, and started a design firm in Chicago and did electron photon research because I had an interest in science. So I did, let's say, my personal passions, manifested those, and then it was just really time to say, okay, now the thing I'm here to do is just to help people remember why they're here, what that calls them to do, and who that calls them to be. The who that calls you them to be is the inner life mission. The what that calls you to do, you might call the outer purpose. So that became my full-time thing, and has been my full-time thing now for about 30 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So you obviously have a lot of passion for it to be doing it for 30 years, right?
Yes. Well, it's the lifetime passion. Even all the while doing all those other things, it was, okay, what am I learning from doing this for myself that I can share with others about how do you make it practical? Because I'm actually a very practical guy. It's like, so there is this passion inside. There's this blueprint of why we are, and why we care about what we care about, and what fascinates us and motivates us. And how do you make that a tangible, grounded whether it's a personal thing as an employee, because I'm working with corporations, they're seeing the value of helping their employees, their teams, their staff get in touch with what that is for them, for a person, and how that aligns with the company mission. And then in an entrepreneurial sense, whether you're a sole proprietor, single person running your entrepreneurial business, or whether you're an entrepreneur with maybe 5 staff or 12 or 15 or 20, how do you align the context of your offer to the world in the way that is within the context of your why, what, and who, and how does you align your staff and your team, and hopefully having that sense of the alignment of the personal purpose and passion of the people on your staff with what you're saying is what this entrepreneurial venture is about.
So you see, life's mission. What is life's mission, and why is it so important?
Well, so what I would say life's mission is, again, the why, what, and who. But why am I here? And what that calls me to do is the outer life mission, and who that calls me to be is the inner life mission. And why I say mission versus purpose is it's been my experience that, well, for one thing, my purpose in a given moment might be to get to the other side of the room or to finish my work so I can spend the weekend with my family, which is great. It may not tell you much about why you're here, though, and it may not tell you much about what to do about your fascinations, motivations, passions, and all of that. So, and I've also noticed that purpose can be kind of trendy, like a fashion, that in 2017, the fashionable thing for a purpose to be might be XYZ. And then in 2020, we might find that most people are saying their purpose is a different thing because the fashion of purpose has changed. And why I say mission is it's the thing that, let's say, it was written in your members, as they say. You came with that mission already, and it also implies being sent, whatever that means to you. The idea that it's not something I'm inventing in the moment. It might be more like remembering. So the life mission is, why am I here? And how do I make that tangible in the world in terms of my entrepreneurial venture, or my place in the corporation I'm working with and the team I'm working with, or just individually as a person? How do I make that tangible? How do I make that grounded? How do I manifest that? And then who would I have to be to step into it? And who would I become by stepping into it? Because there is this interface between the two, that what you do changes who you are, and who you are changes what you do, which changes who you are, which changes what you do, which changes who you are. And that's the interface between the inner and the outer purpose or mission.
Well, Daniel, before you can take action on your life's mission or your life's purpose, you have to know what it is you want to do with your life, right? So what are some of the steps people can take to find out their mission or authentic path in life? What will they have to do? Do they have to look back in their childhood, or?
Well, kind of a both and about that. Let me just say that my orientation, what I've found to be really helpful, which allows someone to say that it's not just for the lucky few, and it's not just some, thunderbolt from heaven that says, voila, epiphany, now I know my life mission. That anyone can know their life mission if you treat it like a skill development kind of thing. What we haven't done real well culturally is to help people do that. We've just kind of left it, like some kind of stroke of luck that you, by accident, or some kind of grace of fate, that you find out what your life mission is. And I say it's like being a musician. If you want to become masterful on your instrument, there are skills you do every day to become a master, whatever your instrument, master.
So Daniel, sorry to interrupt you. So to find your life's purpose, should it be something that you're very good at?
Not necessarily. Well, let me kind of follow that theme, and I'll circle back to that. So there'd be practices, or there'd be skills to do if you were a musician. If you were an athlete, there would be athletic practices to do. Whatever your profession, whatever it is, there are skills or practices or skills you do every day. So the orientation to knowing what your life mission is, let's say there's inquiry. There are skills you could do, which would include Let's say, what was your favorite toys growing up and why? What were your favorite stories growing up and why? What were your favorite movies? But not limited to your childhood. It's right now. If you went into a bookstore at one of the big box bookstores, which section do you go to first? Which one?
Go to business and personal development.
Well, even if it was business and personal development, then what's your offer going to be? So then what's your offer going to be other than the skills of business? If you want to know what's my life mission in business or my purpose in business, you might say, where else if you said, aside from going to the business books for skills about that, where would I go next? Yeah, like what genre, what section of the bookstore, and then what after that? And the most important question is why, though. And also, right now, in your life right now, what movies are your favorite movies, and what attracts you to them? Or what would you do for the love of the game? Or who would you want to spend a day with? If you could spend a day with anyone in history of all time, why would you want to spend the day with that person? And all of those kind of things, what's your deepest engagement? What did you always assume would be part of your life? What wakes you up? Yeah, like all of these questions, there are thousands of them. I call them scales. And in the book, by the way, there's 100 of those kinds of scales embedded in the story, and there's an index at the end that says these are the scales. Here's where they are in the story, so you see somebody working the process. So you're an entrepreneur, and you're looking at what's my contribution? What's the offer I want to make to the world? And who would I need to be, and how do I need to grow personally to bring that to the world? And what is it I want to share? That's the life mission piece of it. That's my why I'm in business, which helps me give me the context for making the decisions about developing my offer. So it always comes down to the skill development part around life mission is like a musician coming to their instrument every day and doing some scales. The life mission skills are the inquiry of these kinds of questions. And what are my strengths? What motivates me? When am I most calm and confident? Those are kind of like the very general kind of things. And the more personal thing, my deepest engagement. What did I know at 7? Because there is a lot of research that says that actually most people knew at 7 what their why was.
That's why I asked you, should people look back at their childhood to find out their true life's purpose?
Well, I would say yes. And some people don't remember their childhood. So I would not wanted to discourage
7 or 8 is the best time from what I know.
Well, they would say that's when your brain has formed, the brain development doesn't really finish till you're about 21. But at 7, there's a kind of major thing that happens. Beta consciousness comes online, and you're able to start processing. Up till then, you're kind of in a dream state as a child. You just take stuff in, but the ability to process. I've been here long enough to kind of figure out how it goes. I've been here long enough to kind of know who I am as a person a little bit. And so there is this combination of, I haven't been here so long I forgot where I came from. I haven't been here so long that I'm completely jaded about what's possible. And so there is something that they found in research later in life when people finally felt they could do what they wanted to do. It almost always comes back to what they already knew at 7 they wanted to do.
Is it only 7 or can it be between 7 and 9?
Well, let's say 6 to 8 or 6 to 9. But 7 is
But I knew when I was 9. I knew when I was 9 what I wanted to do.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it's right in that pocket. Yep. So, if you do remember your childhood, that's a great place to start. If you don't, I wouldn't want, it's not that you can't still get to your life mission. It's a process. And if we taught people the process, everyone would know. And that was kind of one of my visions for the world, is that everyone takes it as self-evident that we all benefit every time someone remembers why they're here and steps into it. And we all lose something when somebody does something other than the reason they're here.
Definitely. Awesome, Daniel. And Daniel, you're also a business consultant. You've recently been consulting with businesses. How can doing business with integrity, passion, and purpose help companies and entrepreneurs thrive in today's rapidly changing business world?
Well, of course, the passion is what allows you to work those long days that are required, especially as an entrepreneur. The integrity, let's say, comes from we could say there's integrity as in morals and ethics, and let's hope we all have that. And in addition to that, there's the integrity of aligning with who you really are and finding a way to express that as a member of a team in a corporation, or as an entrepreneur, a member of a team on an entrepreneurial project. And if I'm clear about what's my why and how that applies to the project of the moment, and let's say the general trajectory of my entrepreneurial venture or the company I'm working for, that gives me the grounding in how I'm going to come with it. And I'm going to say no to some things if it doesn't align with that. And that, I guess, would be your integrity piece. The passion allows you the reinvention, the rate at which things are changing and transforming in the world. There's a graph you can get that shows the upward curve of personal development and, let's say, business training, and the kind of our normal, here's how we expand our capacities curve. And then there's the curve of technology development, and the curve for technology development is moving almost to a straight up line, and our personal development techniques are, let's say, a little bit behind that curve, or a lot, and they're going to be more and more behind that curve. So the rapid transformation of our world period, and especially the world of business, means that what are you going to use for the context to constantly reinvent who you are as a person and reinvent what your company is up to or your entrepreneurial venture is up to? Doing the life mission scales on a regular basis, and it's not a one-time thing. It's like, okay, I've been in this inquiry. I now remember why I'm here. I do have a sense of what I'm supposed to do about it. Good, I'm done. Well, the world won't let us do that. The world is transforming rapidly. So what I say about a life mission is it's not a job. It's a context. So that then you could say, there's this concept that Barbara Scheer talked about, divers and scanners, that a diver goes deeply into one thing and a scanner may do a number of things. And it might be simultaneously doing a number of things or doing them in a serial fashion. For 2 years, I go deeply into this. 2 years, I go deeply into that, etc. So the thing about a life mission, if you're a scanner, and you will need to be almost always in business these days, unless you're the quote-unquote expert who gets hired for a particular thing, even then, the life mission is the thread that ties those pearls together like a pearl necklace or something. It said, okay, there's this, and this, and what's the thing that ties them all together? What's the thread that runs through them? So as I need to reinvent myself to be up to the rapid transformation in the world, in the marketplace, in the world of business, how do I both reinvent myself and reinvent my offer? The products of my company, let's say what I'm going to consult on, or whatever, what my offer to the world. How do I keep reinventing that within the thread and the context and the landscape of my reason for being here and what that calls me to do, and who I'm constantly then going to need to be to dance with those changes? So that's how I would say life mission helps us both be in integrity with ourselves, to say no to what we need to say no to, and reinvent ourselves so we're flexible and strong and moving at the rate that the world's moving at.
Congratulations with that, Daniel. So with your book, what was your intention in writing your book, The Caravan of Remembering? What do you hope readers will come away with it?
Well, hopefully first of all, the reason for writing the book was to bring to the public a process that I mostly was sharing in weekend seminars with the general public, and now sharing with people in corporations and entrepreneurs. So to make that process that I've been doing for decades available to the general public. So the process of the first weekend, which is the why, what, and who of one's life mission, is embedded in the story, so that people reading the story have an example of the process and the witness to somebody actually working the process. So what they would come away with is a sense of the process and about 100 scales that they could do. Again, not that you would have to do all of them every day, but maybe you do one a day. And so that consistently, like a musician developing their skill with their instrument, in this case, we're the instrument. So they would have a set of skills and something to work with. And then there's this thing we call the Caravan Conversations Club. And there's a website, caravanconversations.community, where anyone anywhere in the world could go on and say, I'd like to form a group to work this process with, and it can be totally virtual. We have people in Morocco, people in the States, there's people in South America who are calling in, who are following the Conversations Club. There's a Facebook page with the Conversations, caravanconversations.community is where you form a community and a group of people to work the exercises, the questions with, and you can form your own group, or you could work on a solo, and so that's what they would come away with.
So for people to join the Conversational Club, they go to where, sorry?
They would go to caravanconversations.community.
And you can we can also find your book there, right?
You could, you could go to the caravanofremembering.com, which is the book site, and the book site would also have the link to the community, Caravan Conversations community site, and you could order the book from the Caravan of Remembering book site. You could also go to Amazon, and you could get the hard copy at Amazon. You could get the e-version on Kindle. You could go to iTunes. You could order it through Kobo, depending on your device that you have. So there's a number of ways you could get the book, hard copy or e-versions.
Awesome. And where can you be found, Daniel, please?
Well, you could go to the wayoftheheart.com. There's a contact place on the Caravan of Remembering site, but you could also go to the wayoftheheart.com website.
So if anybody wants to find their life's purpose, they go to the wayoftheheart.com website, and Daniel will help you to find your life's purpose. Awesome, Daniel. So Daniel, and it's so important finding your life's purpose, because when you know what you want to do in your life, it's fun, and it's very easy to avoid negativity. For example, petty annoyance. If negative people get on your nerves, it's very easy to ignore it because you're so focused on your life's purpose. So it's very good. It's good for your health, I would say.
Yes, it very much. Yeah. There are those people who've gotten the quote unquote death sentence, meaning you've got cancer, you've got 3 months to live. And at that point, they finally give themselves permission to live the life they always wanted to live. And they look up 2 or 3 years later doing their passion and they go, oh, I'm still here. So there are many stories like that. There's a consequence to living the quiet life of desperation, quote unquote.
Oh yeah, right? They live longer as well. Yeah, according to research, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. So Daniel, any final last words, final advice to anybody that hasn't found their life's purpose yet?
Well, let me just say that every world tradition has had some way of talking about that we all have a purpose. From the Bhagavad Gita, which is a treatise on life mission, to life purpose. There's the Buddha said, your work is to find your work and give all of yourself to it. There's in Proverbs, talking about train up a child in the way he should come and he will not depart from it. A more accurate translation would be create an environment for life according to your child's gift or bent, and when they're older, they will not depart from it. So, if you're a parent, creating an environment for life according to your child's gift or bent is that the book of wisdom saying, it's not about telling your children what they should do, it's creating an environment for life. But then it's never too late to do that for ourselves. That the conversation about why am I here, what does that call me to do, who does that call me to be, can help you create an environment for life for yourself as well, so that your life is all lit up and fully alive.
Awesome advice, Daniel. Thank you so much. And Daniel, I want to thank you again for taking time out to do this interview. It was definitely more than good enough.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I enjoyed it.
And I want to thank all the listeners for tuning in and listening to the interview. If you know anybody that this interview would benefit, please share it with them. Please also let me know what you think in the comment section and subscribe. And I'm Jamil Jama. This is The Law of Business. And that was Daniel Goodenough. Thank you all very much for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Laws of Business podcast. Find out more about us on thelawsofbusiness.com. Thank you for being a part of our journey.